Let's go. Let's roll. It's your life. I'm about to take you there. I'm lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger. I was born to run. I was built to last. I was made for speed. Cause I was born fast. Born to run, born to ride. Keep on flying till my hands touch the sky.
Alright guys, welcome to another 395 Junkie video. And this one is unlike any one that you've ever seen before. So if you're looking for some overlanding, some cool drone shots, you might get some cool drone shots, but you're not going to get a whole lot of overlanding. I'm at an American Adventurist event, which is they're called their Desert Rendezvous. It's a group of like-minded folks that are into overlanding, camping, off-roading, all the things that if you're watching this that you're into also. They have everything from training classes to cook-offs to a raffle at the very end. I would encourage you to sign up for the next event and take the travel here, get out of your comfort zone, and understand and learn what American Adventurist is all about. And it's my job in this video to kind of give you guys a preview. So that's what we're going to do. With that, I'm putting the camera away. They're going to be cooking burgers for us in a little bit at no charge. And that's your typical Friday night. So we're going to do that. So we will catch up with you guys a little bit later. All right, guys, so here we are, dinner time, Friday night, and American Adventurist does this every year at each one of their events. This year we're in courtside, as I mentioned earlier, and they've got a free dinner for everybody that attends. And in courtside here, they get some locally sourced beef and freshly cooked buns for dinner for everybody. So that is this long line behind me that everybody's in line to get some dinner. So good morning. I thought I'd allow the opportunity for others that are in attendance to this event and have been to this event for more years than I've actually come to it. So to my right, we have Josh and Mickey with Middlelanders on Instagram. And I wanted to open up to you guys, and maybe you can give an opportunity to tell them first your thoughts on American Adventurist from your both two different perspectives, and then also what you're doing later on today, Josh, that people can look forward to themselves when they come to an American Adventurist event.
What we think of American Adventurist, what I think of American Adventurist, it's a great group of people like-minded that, you know, we get together at least twice a year and get to hang out, and no pressure, no stress, just people like-minded in the overland industry that are either vendors and or enthusiasts that just come and hang out and get together and enjoy each other's camaraderie.
Mickey, yeah, what do you think?
I can piggyback on that as well. It's for us, there's 4 events a year that we put on our calendar and make sure we have the PTO to take off. And it's both of the Adventurist, your event, and the Overland Expo. So everything else kind of gets worked around those, and this is a place where we can come, hang out with our friends, and leave here with our cup full.
But Stacy, you were with, they can find you on Instagram. It's
Suprunner48.
Why don't you tell us how many times you've been to American Adventurist and what's your perspective of coming out to an event like this?
Oh gosh, this is my 4th event, and I was introduced to it by my friends, the Middlelanders over here. But, you know, kind of to your point earlier is getting involved in these groups. You know, even as a solo, you tend to find your people out here, and that's what's been so great about it. And you know, just to meet all the people, see the different setups, learn from each other, have so many laughs. That's probably the best part for me, is all the laughs.
Yes.
That we have.
Awesome, thank you. To Josh's point, he said this is their 2nd event. The other one they have is in Big Bear, California. It's called Mountain Rendezvous, and that one will be the next one after this, which is in October. So I would advise you guys to immediately give them a follow on Instagram and on their website, and you'll be able to learn so much more information about it. And before we get to Josh one more time to talk about one of the events that he's going to be doing today, you don't have to do any events. So many people come here, they set their rigs up like Stacy's beautiful rig behind us. The only reason it's so fancy is they have a decorating competition. One of the special events that they have at Desert Rendezvous is they offer a trail ride for any of those that want to, you know, feel free to pack up their rig if it doesn't take them too long. And maybe you could briefly tell us what your plan is today and sure. How hardcore you're gonna go.
The plan today, we're at the north end of the Kofa Wilderness, so I mean there's hundreds and hundreds of miles of trails out here to explore. Not everybody's going to go on the trail run. We actually limit it to a small number of rigs and different capabilities, so everybody has a little bit of something. We've got about an 8-mile out and back trail. It goes down to the base of some beautiful mountains down here. It's called Lower Dripping Springs Loop. This is just going to be a quick little run out and get the people exposed. I mean, we've ran into a bunch of people on these trips where sometimes this is the first time they've had their vehicle on dirt. They're just getting rolling.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all. And we love being able to teach the people how to use their equipment. You come out to these events or go purchase this stuff and see what everybody else has, and nobody shows you how to use it. So, you know, that's what we're here for, and that's a big part of American Adventurist is, I mean, there's recovery classes, there's first aid classes, there's fire starting classes, and, you know, just, it's amazing the education that we get.
There's a fee up front, which is a very reasonable fee for what you're getting. All of these events and classes, they're thrown in. That's not paid anything extra. As you saw last night, they have one night dinners on them. They made some amazing burgers. The money goes to really good places that I'll let you go to AmericanAdventurist.com and learn more about that. But for now, we're all going to finish getting ready. Josh has got to hit the trail, and we'll catch up with you guys in just a little bit.
Welcome to American Adventurist Desert Rendezvous 2024. My name's John Rhodes. I'm with American Adventurist with the staff members here. And I work for the Park Service. I've got 22 years in with the Sheriff's Office for search and rescue. I find myself out in the field a lot.
Guys, meet John. John is a volunteer for American Adventurist, and he is a guy that Tish and I have had the pleasure of going wheeling with him, his wife, and his son out in Utah. This guy is very knowledgeable, and here you can see John giving a class on fire starting, which honestly doesn't sound that complicated, right? Well, when there's a lack of dry wood and you're cold and you're struggling to get a fire going, it never seems to fail that that's the toughest time that you have in getting it going. So this was just one example of a class that American Adventurist held, which was very helpful. And next, we're going to show you another one.
All right, well, I think we're gonna kick this donkey in the tail and get started here.
Everybody, meet Dave. Dave Bennett's the one that started American Adventurist many, many, many years ago. And you'll hear more from him in just a little bit, but on this class, he gave a survival course on what to do when you're in the middle of nowhere with limited resources. This was a fantastic class that if you ever make it to American Adventurist, I would definitely
Good morning,
attend.
everybody. I'm Dave Bennett, and I'm going to be presenting you guys with a little lesson plan that I put together. I've got a series of these that I've done. Alone in the Wilderness is the focus of the series. This one focuses on water purification.
All righty. Good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you guys being out here and being safe and courteous and treading lightly. What I want to talk about today is the basics.
So we were lucky enough to have John come back up and give us another class, and this one was specific to search and rescue and basic survival skills when it comes to being on your own or in a small group. He told you what to look out for, things to do, things not to do, things as basic as when you get out of your vehicle, if you're by yourself, make sure you step on the ground real clear, show your footprints. Make sure that if people have to come look for you, they have a decent way of finding out which way you went, which direction you went. And he went into so much more. But just another example of something you would get to learn at American Adventurist.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Ken Carver. I am a federal wildlife officer for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And today I'm going to talk about is one thing that, does anybody know where they're at today? You just had a search and rescue class, so don't need a GPS, but do you know exactly where you're at? Okay, got coordinates. Well, quartzsite. What else? What kind of land? Who owns the land? BLM, Bureau of Land Management.
And to wrap up the final class of the day, we had a real treat. American Adventurist had invited Officer Carver out, who's with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and he kind of got into the nitty-gritty about the purpose of a wildlife refuge and just kind of went over a lot of the basics that we should all be aware of when traveling on some of these protected lands. And it was quite interesting, and I learned quite a bit. All right, guys, so we got a real treat for you here. Dave Bennett is the one that originally started this American Adventurist, and I'm going to give him an opportunity to explain how that started, why he started it, and just give us a brief overview of both events. Dave, thanks so much for taking the time. Daniel. I know you're busy. These events aren't easy to put together, but you guys do a superb job, and I'm very happy to show up every single year and support the cause because for my own selfish reasons, I get more out of it than the small donation you guys asked for. So maybe we could start off with just explaining to people how this started, who you are, and just a real brief overview of your organization here.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. So we started American Adventurist back in 2010, and we really looked to focus just on North America and things that were attainable. North America is vast. There's so much here to see and do. I could probably never hit all the good spots in my lifetime. We really wanted to do something that was just very basic and very attainable, very welcoming, sort of a family. And here we are 13 years later at this event, and it grew out into really a family, a tribe, if you will, right, of like-minded adventurers and families and kids and dogs and people like you and me that we would rather be outside than stuck in a cubicle or, you know, in the daily grind. So
this is an event unlike a lot of other events where they're trying to grow it and they're trying to, you know, line their pockets and make it a commercial. This is a non-commercial event. This is as close to a non-profit as you'll get. I'm going to tread lightly with as far as, you know, there are funds that are used for the event, but I know Dave puts a lot back into, you know, some great organizations. So what other organizations does the funds go to that, you know, kind of gives back to this community?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. So when we first started doing this, that was one of the core things that we wanted to be about. We didn't want to be about biggering or trying to be corporate. We really wanted to keep it grassroots, and we wanted to find good things that we could encourage people to support. One of our events, the Mountain Rendezvous that we hold every October in Southern California at a place called Camp Talkett's, which is part of the Long Beach Council of the Boy Scouts. We've been supporting them since our very first event there, well, 13 years ago. Right. And we donated money to the Boy Scouts there every year. If you ever cross Highway 38 on the backside of Big Bear, there's a footbridge because the Highway 38 goes right through the Boy Scouts property, and the Scouts were having a problem going to activities. So funds from our group, from this group, actually funded that footbridge that you see for the Boy Scout camp there at Camp Talkett's across Highway 38.
That is part of what these funds go to. So, and there's a lot of other organizations that get helped out. I mean, one that comes to the top of my head is Tread Lightly. I mean, they do a whole class on Tread Lightly, and I mean, we could speak until we're blue in the face. It's really important, guys. It's not about you know, just getting out there and having being off-road and, you know, a bunch of selfish reasons to have a good time, then you leave your trash behind, because that's short-lived. I promise you, that's going to be short-lived. There's already trails and roads that are getting closed, and I've got one last question. I'm going to put Dave on the spot here and ask him. I know you're not looking to grow this on a event basis, but right now we're doing you guys are doing 2 events a year. Has there been any thought about adding a 3rd one in?
There's always the opportunity for more events. We've had groups reach out. I mean, there's been talk of doing an event in Colorado. There's been talk of doing an event in Utah. It's all about the location. You need to have the right location to have an event. But at the end of the day, right now too is sustainable, at least until I'm fully retired from my day job, and then I may have more bandwidth. But right now, the Desert Rendezvous that we hold every February and the Mountain Rendezvous that we hold in October will sustain us through at least 2025.
Fantastic. And I would encourage you guys all to please give them a follow, learn about it. There's a lot of educational materials online. But in the meantime, Dave, I really appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you. See you out on the trail.
See you guys. And then that evening, as usual, we all gathered around our little campfire near all of our rigs, and we must have had 30, 40 people in our little circle, and everybody took an opportunity to introduce themselves, talk about their experience overlanding, and before you know it, we all just kind of began mingling into the night and went to bed to get ready for the raffle the next morning.
I'm Dave Bennett. Founded this back in about 2010 because we wanted to get out and do this thing with friends and family. 13 years later, we're still out here doing it. We didn't change the recipe. It's the same that it's always been, and I couldn't do that without the support of these guys back here and gals. Woo!
Good morning, guys. Sunday morning, American Adventurist Desert Rendezvous is coming to an end. for 2024. But they're not done yet. They got a mountain rendezvous coming up in October. So like I mentioned, I would encourage you guys to follow them on Instagram, follow them on the internet. They have a lot of great resources for those of us that like to adventure. So as you can see behind me, we're just about to get going on the raffle, and this takes like an hour or so because they have so many gifts and prizes that they give away. Is a reason enough for you to come over here and join us, other than just all the fun and camaraderie and great people that you'll get to meet. So I'm gonna head back there. I'm gonna sit down next to Mama Goose, and we will catch up with you guys in just a little bit.
354. More thick and sweet from who? 395 jerky. Where's Daniel at?
Right here.
Daniel.
You're welcome.
All right. Boom. And we're going to give this away with a soft shackle from our friends at Deadman Off-Road in one of their shirts, and the nice mountain hatch cutting board. 326. 326.
All right.
I want to thank you guys for coming out. I want to thank all the sponsors, all the vendors. Super grateful for all the support that we get from this industry. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of good people, and I want to thank you for continuing to support what we do. This year, as you know, there's a big battle for closures. You know my thoughts on closure. Hey, closure is not the answer. We've got a responsibility as the end user, as the enthusiast, to leave it better than we found it, to clean up our trash, and to be good and decent human beings, all right? The landowners, the government, also have a responsibility to us as the taxpayer, as the citizens, to try to work with us and keep those gates open. So we're gonna make a donation to the Blue Ribbon Coalition with the proceeds from this event to support their fight to try to keep Moab and all those trails in Utah open, because raise your hands if you really like Utah. So that's what we're going to do. That's what you did this year by coming out to this event. So thank you. Let's give a round of applause for everyone I talked about. Hey, thanks, folks. Please do us a favor. No trash. Leave it better than we found it. And we'll see you out on the trail. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. So that is a wrap for Desert Rendezvous, American Adventurist. Their next event, like I said, is going to be in October up in Big Bear. But now we say goodbye, and I say goodbye to Mama Goose because a new adventure starts as soon as I start that Jeep. I'm going to be spending about 2-3 days out in Kofa Wilderness, and
without me,
without Tish, so it's going to be super lame.
I gotta go back to work.
It's going to be really lame. I may not talk during the whole video. So anyways, keep an eye out for that video, but that's the end of this one. Happy trails.